Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dive Deep. I'm Shelby Cornett, and I'm the ministry assistant at Cambridge City Christian Church. And this is Danny, my co host.
No, I'm not your co-host. You're the host. I'm your
Yeah.
permanent guest.
Permanent guest. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew we decided you
Well,
weren't just my guest anymore.
I guess not really permanent because there's some weeks I'm not on your show. But
Yeah. Some weeks I'm not even on the show.
yeah. Yeah, I won't say what first popped in my head when you said that. I was going to say those are the good weeks of the show. No.
Yeah, thanks. When it doesn't exist, I carry the show.
You do carry it. Yep. I'm just on here because she can't just talk to herself.
Yeah.
That might look a little weird.
I mean, I
so.
could. I could put on a disguise and sit across the table.
And that would still be better than me, right?
Yeah.
Being on the show.
It'd be like, I know you're too old, but did your
Well, that's a great way to start.
did your kids ever watch that thing on Nickelodeon with Amanda Please?
I think I remember hearing
And
about
she
it.
played all the characters.
Okay. All right. You're probably too old. Yeah.
I mean, I watched
If you
it.
keep this
so
up, I'm going to sue you for ageism.
is that a thing?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure is. And you're going to find out from my lawyer now.
Headlines everywhere.
Yeah, pastor sues this church secretary.
For ages.
Yeah.
You and Travis could go together because I make fun of both of
That's true, yeah. Class action lawsuit.
you.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
All right.
Anyways, moving on from that. We are in a series now.
Oh, we wrapped up a series. We wrapped it up.
We
this
wrapped
week.
up a series
Yeah.
in the midst of suffering.
Yeah, we talked a lot about suffering the last few weeks. We had one. The first week we talked about the problem of suffering, where it came from, where evil comes from. Then we took a week off because we had Mission Sunday.
Mhm.
And then 2 weeks ago we talked about Jesus. What would Jesus say about it? And then this week we kind of looked across the Scripture. This week's message was the title is when you don't like the answer, when it's hard to really accept the answer. What was the name of it again? My exact
Why
title.
it can be so hard to understand.
There you go. Why it can be so hard to understand it. And I started off the message just talking about how sometimes we get an answer, but we don't like the answer. And so we keep asking the question. And so my point was on Sunday was to kind of answer the question again.
Yeah.
Because God does throughout the Scripture over and over again. He answers the question of why there's suffering, why there's evil, and what he's doing about it. So that's kind of what we dwelled on this
When
week.
you talked about sometimes we just don't like the answer,
Mhm.
it made me think my kids still have their Easter candy stash, right?
Mhm.
So Jackson will bring me something and I'll be like, no, he doesn't like the peanuts and stuff. So
Mhm.
he'll bring me like a Snickers. I'll be like, no, no, Jackson, you can't have that. And then he goes and puts it back and he brings me another one. He's like, can you open this? And he just goes back and forth until he gets one that he knows.
Until he
that-
gets the answer he wants.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we kind of do
We
that
do
with God.
that.
We do that. It is funny over and over again, and hearing your story there makes me laugh because over and over again I've noticed we are like little kids. Even though we're all big and grown up and everything,
Mhm.
with God, we're like little kids.
Like when our prayers aren't answered, we keep asking and
Mhm.
asking and
Mhm.
asking.
We just think that he's not listening or whatever.
Can you
and-
imagine if we had a dad God and a mom God where
Mhm.
like to go ask your mom. So then you'd have to go back and forth.
Yeah, there's no doing any of that with God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the same guy over and over again.
Yeah. There's can't do that. You can't put them against each other.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So the main thing that I liked and I got from the sermon was that our doubts can help us understand God better.
Mm-hmm.
And when you doubt, dig deeper.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many stories about when you have a doubt about something biblical or anything Christ related. Like when people do research, like they end up being more of a believer than they were before.
Yes. Yeah,
or if they weren't a believer, they become a
Mhm.
believer. And
that does happen a lot.
yeah.
But a lot of times when people run into doubts, they just give up.
Mhm.
Like they think, well, I doubt this, so it must not be true if I'm doubting it, so I'm not going to do
Right.
it. And I just kind of wonder about that a little bit. I'm like, is that really like I mean, is that really how you handle things in life? Like when you run into a roadblock or whatever, that you just say, well, too late, or, I'm not going to try to sort this out or get better at it or whatever. I mean, and we're talking about the most important thing there is, that's our faith, and we can get a little lazy sometimes. So yeah, doubts can actually be an opportunity to grow deeper. We saw that. I mentioned Thomas, doubting Thomas, and how even though he had doubts that Jesus was resurrected, he didn't fully close himself off to the potential possibility. And because of that, he actually met the resurrected Jesus, and the doubts went away. And I think the same thing can happen to us.
Yeah. So, and that video was really cool.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That was a really neat video.
If you haven't watched the sermon, you have to go back and watch the video.
Yeah. Don't watch my sermon, though, right? Well, is that what you're insinuating?
No, it's
okay.
not.
All right. Just making
but
sure.
I can see where you got that from.
The video is really cool. It's about halfway into the message. Yeah, it talks about a couple who were married, got divorced, but then they came to faith, and then kind of answered some doubts. And she kind of
brought him to faith.
Even though she was the one that had initiated the divorce. Yeah, it's a really cool story.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Really cool, yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything you wanted to add that you didn't get to talk about?
Well, we talked about, like, we looked at the Old Testament text primarily to look at that God understands that there really is evil. He isn't trying to whitewash it. He isn't trying to hide it and pretend like it's not there. He acknowledges that there's a problem, so then he does something about it, and he does something through Christ. He sends Christ to die on the cross for us and rise again. And so, and then at the very end of the sermon, I mentioned 1 Peter 3 and talked about how important it is for us to give an answer for the hope that we have. Because people are out there asking questions, and as Christ followers, we have to be ready to give an answer. And sometimes we're not, and so we need to prepare ourselves. I know it was really cool after church. We had someone in our church family that came up and got one of the books that I had shared about some resources, and they were going to read it this week. So that's what we need to do, is we need to get deeper into our faith when doubts come in. Let's ask questions and learn more, because the answers are there. I have no doubt. I mean, I've had many questions through the years, and I find the answers, but you have to look.
Right.
You have to look.
You can't just give up on it.
No. So, so we wrap up the series, and this week's graduation Sunday. So
I love graduation
Sunday.
Sunday.
It's an exciting day. And then we start our summer series, and, we go into Memorial Day weekend. And then after that, we're going to start our summer series, and we're going to go through the book of Proverbs. I'm really excited about that one. I've never preached from Proverbs before, so I'm really looking forward to that.
That'll be an interesting one.
It'll be a different one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Memorial Day weekend, we go to one service.
Yes. Yeah. So this Sunday we still have two, but the next weekend back to one service.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I guess we can say, quote unquote, COVID's over if we're back to one service.
Oh, don't say that out loud.
I know. I probably just cursed us. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm over it.
I know. But it is one of the last things that we change for COVID that we're now putting back.
Yeah.
So
we are
almost
back to normal.
Yeah. It only took us, two and a quarter years or whatever. So
too long.
so, yep.
All right. Well, next week, you won't be here this Sunday.
No. Travis is covering for me So Travis will be on Dive Deep next week. So the show will get a lot better.
Well, if we can find his...
That's
maybe
right.
If we can
better
find
and better looking. Yeah. Huh?
Maybe if we can find his ancient photographs from his graduation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If he can remember.
When he used to have hair.
That was Danny.
But that's coming from me, and I don't have room to speak because I don't have much hair either. So. So, no, it happens to all of us.
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm just getting a little bit of gray.
I hope I'm around to see you fully gray. We're going to give you the hardest time.
Maybe you'll never know because I'll just color it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say maybe we'll never know because we'll have like dementia or something by then.
See, I was nice.
I was embracing myself for the
nice
insult.
That time.
For ageism, I was bracing myself.
And I didn't say something mean this morning that I almost said.
Well, what, you want a cookie for that or something? I mean.
No, I held back. That was good.
Oh, okay. Well.
We just waited until it was on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. she
Yeah,
made
I
up
can
for
talk
it
about
later.
it now.
All
All
right.
right. So, anyways, next week, me and Travis will talk about something to do with graduation.
Graduation, yeah.
And I think that's it.
Yep, I think so.
All right. We'll see you guys
Have a
next
good week.
week.